Hi everyone, so my name is Tyler. You can call me Mr. McCarthy. Today in class we have Jane, and she's going to help us out with our lesson on thesis statements. Thank you. Just to give you guys a little rundown of our lesson plan for today. First we're going to talk about what makes a good thesis statement. We're going to approach questions like what do we mean when we say thesis. Then we're going to move on to what makes a good thesis statement and a not so good thesis statement, before finally approaching kind of the question of how we can apply what we learned today to improving our writing skills in general, right? So the way I like to think about it is a thesis statement is like a sort of roadmap. It helps lead the reader in the direction that you're trying to take the essay, but it also serves as an important foundation for the writer to return back to, right? And so actually, if anyone could give me a definition. Yes, Jane.
By a thesis, do you mean a specific type of claim?
Thanks, Jane. I appreciate that. So you guys, just to add to Jane's point, I'm going to go ahead and define thesis on the board. So I have a position or opinion that a writer expresses on a topic. And just to keep in mind when we ask ourselves questions like, what's the use of the thesis, right? So I have, it should try to tie together and give purpose to our essays. And so like the first step of developing a sort of thesis is a one-sentence version. The thesis statement. So every essay needs a thesis statement. And so once we're done considering the relationships between the known facts, hopefully we have a sort of workable thesis statement, right? And so the main point, there's two main points there. We want to make sure that we have we are representing a basic or a main fact along with an argument that we feel we can support with evidence. So keep in mind that this is a work in progress and that we're probably going to continuously change our thesis statements as we go along through our essays. So don't spend either too much time or too little time considering this sort of workable thesis statement.
What's the difference between a good and bad thesis?
All right, thanks, Jane. I appreciate that. So that's a great question. What's the difference between a good and a bad thesis statement? So first off, I have on the board what a thesis statement is not. So we're going to start there, right? So first off, a thesis statement is not a title. It's not an announcement. So we don't want to use words like my paper is about. And so with that, we also want to stray away from personal pronouns. So I, you, we. And then of course, a statement like we talked about is an argument and not a fact. And then also keep in mind that we don't want to put the whole essay, again, like we talked about, thesis statement is only a one sentence thing.
What's an example of a good thesis statement?
All right, awesome. So that's a great question. So what does make up an effective thesis statement? So I have a couple points up here. So most importantly, you want to make a judgment or an interpretation, right? Like all of our writing, we want it to be specific, clear, and thoughtful. Again, one sentence. And then finally, just don't be afraid if someone disagrees with your thesis statement. Keep in mind that it's really there for the reader to sort of get a feel for what your essay is going to be about. We're just going to go over a little acronym game that I learned as a teacher's aide for a 7th and 8th grade English teacher. So we're going to try to apply what we just learned, which is how to craft a thesis statement, and then kind of set the foundation for using that thesis statement for a persuasive essay. So first we have, I'm just going to go over DARE, right? And then actually if I could ask someone in the class to help me with that. Maybe I'll say the first line and they can say the second one. So first we have D, so develop a topic statement, right, to support your thesis as you write.
Add supporting ideas to support your thesis.
And then we have reject possible arguments for the other side.
End with a conclusion.
Right, so thank you, Jane. And then inside this D part, develop a topic statement, / support your thesis as you write, which we're going to include stop. And so I'll go ahead and say this one all by myself, but this is kind of, again, try to think back to what we learned today. So S for suspend judgment and brainstorm ideas for and against the topic. T for take a side. O for organize ideas, and you can be creative in organizing your ideas. I've heard some people use stars and kind of like line them up one by one. And then finally P, plan more as you write. All right, and so that's our lesson for today.